I try not to talk about topical subjects on this show simply because there's other outlets who are more set up for that sort of stuff than me. But once in a while, I think it's important to look at current stories from a point of view that matters, but the news outlets often tend to overlook. The main reason I hammered on and on about the expansion of driver-only operation on the national network being a bad idea is because none of the press had realised it was a question of safety and not about jobs and doors. The Linton and Barnstable protesters were at the root of another editorial, partly in defence of them being the victims of online misogyny, but mostly to try and examine their statements from an economical perspective. However, it seems this story has become the main early talking point of 2019 amongst heritage railways in the UK. As many of you will know, the Great Central Railway took the initiative to revoke all photographers' line-side passes effective on January 4th. So if you turn up at Loughborough wanting to take pictures of the trains, you either have to use public access points or splash out on the photo charter scene. The main reason for this has been that the Office of Rail Regulation, or ORR, has been pressuring the railway to do so for some time following several reports of qualified people standing too close to the line or unqualified people standing on the wrong side of the fence to begin with. There are still line-side passes being issued to GCR volunteers on a trial basis, possibly with the incentive of reissuing them to the public at some point. But the number has reduced for now. The ORR has also advised that stepladders on photo charters be done away with due to a risk of photographers potentially falling sideways and landing on the track. Now, some people may think this is a disaster for any railway that issues line-side passes due to their dependence on the subsequent financial support. The thing is though, this financial support isn't as straightforward to judge as first impressions might imply. For example, to hold a Great Central Railway PTS, you first needed membership with the Friends of the Great Central Main Line. A year's membership in 2018 was £25, with a line-side pass and high-vis coming to another £45 on top of that. In 2018, the GCR had 350 members holding line-side passes, so a total loss of £24,500 in membership and passes doesn't sound like a big dent in the railway's coffers, especially considering this could be made up simply by running 5 extra dining trains. But as a matter of balance, this is a heritage railway, and every heritage railway has to run on a cost-covering basis simply because the overheads are so high, and potentially getting higher. Furthermore, most people who buy line-side passes also tend to buy day rover tickets at gala weekends, working timetables and refreshments from the cafes. When you add all of these little things up, the figures may begin to take effect over time, though we won't know for sure until time passes. Rumours are already flying around over which big railways will keep their personal trackside safety programs available to the public and which will keep them for volunteers only. But for the time being at least, this seems to be a case-by-case matter. While the ORR might step things up due to recent events, some railways are already taking their own steps to upgrade their standards or have done away with them altogether. The Kent and East Sussex Railway are still issuing their equivalent of the PTS and are looking at upgrading their requirements as old-fashioned detonators are becoming obsolete in favour of flashing LEDs. The Avon Valley has drawn up their own PTS scheme based around Great Western's PTS programme, their thinking being that if it's good enough for the big railway, it's more than likely going to be okay for a little one. Though the public necessity for them is entirely questionable due to the railway mostly running alongside public footpaths. Meanwhile, other lines like the Gwilly Railway in South Wales stopped issuing line-side passes several years ago, and the Welshpool and Llanfire Light Railway, amongst many other narrow-gauge railways in Wales, don't issue trackside passes at all due to the clearances on most of the railways simply being too tight. Now, while I think you can get a perfectly decent shot from the safe side of the fence, I'm not against line-side passes. Speaking as a filmmaker who highlights heritage railways, they're a fantastic way of obtaining scenes and shots that you could only dream of getting from the safe side of the fence. But it's worth bearing in mind that a line-side pass is a bit like a driving licence, in that it doesn't give anybody the right to be on the wrong side of the fence as the privilege. Too much inappropriate behaviour, and the powers that be have the responsibility to remove offenders from the premises and ensure they don't come back. Following their Winter Gala of 2019, Great Central footplate crews have already reported they're starting to feel more relaxed about not having to watch out for the safety of lineside photographers as well as that of their own and their passengers. Given some of the abuse that GCR volunteers received from the minority of people who weren't in a position of safety, that's not really surprising. And to anybody who thinks you don't need a high-vis to be on the line side, it is a basic matter of common sense and people should just not be stupid when they're near the line. But it's also worth thinking about it from the point of view of the footplate crew. I mean, would you feel happy about masses of people standing too close to the line that you couldn't see until it was too late to stop your train? It's only when you're on the footplates that you realise just what a blessing that annoying luminous orange vest can really be. Whichever way it pans out on the heritage railway scene, it's already looking like an interesting year regarding the future of line-side passes. Some railways have already stopped issuing them, others may follow suit, but if the ORR is lenient enough with them, maybe not all of them will be going cold turkey. It bows down to what's worth more in the long run: revoking potential financial support or accidental termination of such support. It would help all of us to stay safe on the railways and follow whatever rules happen to be in place, because as is the case for that one guy who nearly got knocked down while filming Oliver Cromwell all those years ago, it only takes one person to ruin everybody's fun. I'm Chris, and next time something more positive for a change. Promise.